Why are we doing it live? I don't know. We're doing it live. So Tyler was like, hey, we should do a live video on these spark plugs that we're doing. And I was like, why? And he was like, why not? So, yeah, that's what's happening.
Couldn't answer that question, could you?
Yep. So here we are. We're doing a live spark plug. So if you got any question about spark plugs on a 3.7 while we do this, feel free to throw it out there. I've got the camera turned around so I can see stuff, hopefully. So got questions, throw them out there, and we'll just talk you through it. Enjoy it. Hang out with us while we do some spark plugs on transit.
Got nothing else to do.
I actually started out doing a video on this transit for a misfire that it was having. And we determined that the manifold catalytic converters that we bought for this, well, basically shot themselves out the back. I mean, there's just no nice way to put it. They literally ejected themselves out the back of the truck. So, except for one, which was partially clogged. So we took care of that. So I didn't figure I'd do that since we've already done a catalytic converter video. But we couldn't remove all suspicion that some of the misfire was coming from spark plugs, even though I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Generally, spark plug misfires just don't start. They build up over time. But it is due for it anyway, so we're just doing it while we got it here. We'll also change the oil and all that good stuff. But like I said, I know I've already done a video on Transit 3.7 spark plugs. But why not? Let's do it live. So, any questions you guys got? Throw them on up there. Or anything you just want to say, like, screw you guy, your transit videos suck. You could say that if you wanted to. I mean, that'd be rather rude, but. So right now we're taking off the purge valve, the evap purge valve. Probably one of the easiest evap purge valves you'll ever do on a vehicle. They're getting easier, but it's right there. Taking off that bracket, get all of this out of the way, and we'll go ahead and just open up this right here gently to get that up and out of the way, just so it's not up all in our chili. Alright, so the last thing we got, I don't know if you let me get a light for you guys. This here. There is a tab that holds this wiring harness right back here to the back of the valve cover. You're going to want to use a little trim tool and pop that up and get that out of the way. I know I've not done spark plugs on this thing because that thing doesn't look mutilated because it's one of those Christmas tree tabs. I might need the narrow one. And yeah, I need the... I got it. It's one of those Christmas tree tabs, but it goes way deep into the plastic of the intake, and it pulls the pieces back, and once you pull it back so far, it's never going back in there the right way. I mean, you can go ahead and put it back in the hole, but it just doesn't sit all the way down, so it's a good indicator that I've obviously not done spark plugs on this thing. There is a... Maybe grab me an 8, please. 8? That's fine. There's a little support bracket right here on the front that supports your intake. I'll lean you guys in there so you can see that. The support bracket here. That supports the intake. You don't want to forget it when you go back together, otherwise it can cause your intake to crack. The bottom one, I just loosen up and let it fall out of the way. That way I can't lose it. Alright, so one last map sensor way back. Way back here. It's hard to do. This is why a lot of videos while working on something aren't super awesome. Got a safety tab that you pull back. You're actively on the internet. You're forewarned. Alright, and then there's one last tab for this map sensor. It's on the very back that you'll have to get up and off of there. Where'd my... Alright. If I remember right, most of the times I just unbolt the intake, and I bring it forward to where you can actually get to it, so you're not dislocating your shoulder to get to it. So we'll do that. My extension back on there. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts holding this intake down, I believe. Technically, you're supposed to start take them off from the order that they were torqued down, but I just basically start from the outside. And work my way in, because that's basically how it's torqued down. You watching the feed, Tyler? Huh?
If anybody's chatting.
Hey, give me a test comment to see if I see it pop up here. We're noobs at this whole live thing. We just got to 1,000 subscribers to where I'm actually allowed to go live from a mobile device. So you're going to want to pull this little tab back.
See how long it takes.
Give me the spark plug. Yeah, it's right there.
That's quick.
Yeah. I think these are SP520s. I'll tell you for sure when I pull it out of the hole. Alright, so now that that's loose, it's trying to reattach itself to that little Christmas tree tab. You can carefully kind of pull this forward to where you can actually get to this tab that's holding this wire in back here. Bugger is on there. What's up?
Seeing the delay.
Is it an SP520?
I was just looking.
I have some right over there.
You got about a 30-second delay.
Is it a 30-second delay?
15.
Well, that's good to know. They ask questions. Get off of there. This guy right there is the biggest pain in the ass part of doing the intake right there. Who am I forgetting? Oh, right. Hey, don't be a dipshit like me and forget to unhook the throttle body. It's got a red safety tab, and then there's one wire clip there at the bottom of the throttle body. All the bolts in the intake are captured, so now we're going to stuff the intake holes with some rags so nothing falls in there. I'll get those. It also allows us to clean the intake surface without pushing dirt down inside the engine. One more. So now it basically looks like the 3.5. The 3.5 is a piece of cake to do a spark plug video on. I didn't do one just because watch the 3.7, you take the intake off, and once you're to that point, it's the exact same process for the 3.5. So we will pop all our safety tabs back on our coils. Tyler's already done that on this side because he likes to jump the gun. Those are 7s, right? Do you have my 7?
Is it 7 or 8?
I don't know. I know that V10s are... Coil plugs are an 8, by the way. There's all those. You see any comments on there? I think it shows we only got like 2 people watching right now.
Between 2 and 3. He's bouncing in and out, or she.
I bet I probably know the guy watching. So sad. I mean, I can't blame him. Who the hell wants to watch some guy do a spark plugs on a 3.7 Transit, right? Just let it be known this was all Tyler's idea. So what just happened right there, I'm telling you right now, do not expect that on your 3.5. Look at this. Look, see, here's coil. Boop. No problem. And there's still a bit of dielectric grease left on. That will not happen. I promise. On the 3.5. They are baked the hell on, and they tear the boots every time. I actually did a tool review video of a tool that Matco sells for removing the torn boot from the spark plug. The video didn't go well. It was a difficult video to shoot. But so when you pull your coils out, you want to look real intently for any cracks or water intrusion, especially because this windshield wiper cowl right here is known for dripping water right on 2 and 5. And a lot of the times you'll have the bolts that hold the coil plug in break. And that or it'll rip a little insert right out of the valve cover. So when you pull your coils out, look real intently for any heat cracks. Now this is generally only a problem on the 3.5. Not very many times I have coil problems on a 3.7. And also make sure that your boots are still nice and supple. On the 3.5s, they'll be hard as a rock. But because the 3.7 builds so much less heat because it's not turbocharged, I mean, I still have, don't get me wrong, it's like dried up, but I still have the factory dielectric grease on there. So all of these coils look good. I had no suspicion that any of the coils were bad, but again, look really clearly for any cracks or intrusion or anything like that. What's up?
Nothing.
What?
No, you're good. Keep going.
That guy's an asshole, by the way. Hey, wait. Hurry up and show me your toolbox. Oh, shut the hell up. Alright. These coils are looking good. That's 5/8. 5/8 spark plug socket, by the way.
Too heavy.
But when you see cracks on these, I tend to see them right here. And they'll come all the way down to the bottom. Or you'll see a crack right here where the terminal goes. Right here where the terminal goes in. But that's generally where I see the cracks, and that's where water gets in and can start giving you intermittent coil problems.
Extension.
Yeah, just a short one. So you got it right here. See, Tyler's got all of the Matco electric ratchet stuff. I'm a Milwaukee guy just because cheap, and they still make a good tool.
They do make a good tool. I ain't use that. I was gonna break them loose first.
No, you're not. That extension ain't going nowhere. I will say these Milwaukee or these Matco electric ratchets are a lot quicker than the Milwaukees, and I do feel like they have better. I mean, look how slow I can move that. I don't have that kind of control with the Milwaukee.
But Milwaukee does make a great tool.
He has the long reach 1/4 inch, and I mean to tell you that thing is fast. CYFS 12F-5. That's not the Motorcraft part number, but you want to go find out which one of those that is. But I want to look at the plugs real quick. Oh crap, forgot the camera's over here and I'm mirrored. Oh, frame. Porcelain's nice and white. I don't see a lot of black soot. The gap's kind of worn out, but nothing too bad. So just look at your plugs when you take them off. See how each cylinder's living. Any of you guys that race know that that's like reading the tea leaves right there, and that's your #1 indicator of how your engine's behaving.
Timing works good too. But almost at the curve. Not bad.
Yep, all these are looking good too.
You need a parser.
Hey, we got 4 people watching. For those that just joined us, we're just doing spark plugs on a 3.7 Transit. Yeah, Tyler wanted to do a live video, so we did a live video. Actually, it was Tyler wanted to do a live video, and I had no reason why not. So that's why we're really doing it.
Are they over there on that bin?
They're over there on the top right shelf. If I'm not mistaken, Ford wants you to do spark plugs on both the 3.7 and the 3.5 at
SP521s?
I don't know, pull it off and look at the number on the plug. They want you to do it at 60,000 miles. This thing's over that. It may be 100,000, but I can tell you right now that ambulance miles, as far as spark plugs go, are like dog miles because they do so much freaking idling. So I'm way overdue on this. Alright, so this one's a little bit blacker, but not bad. Yeah, one's going to be for the 3.7. Or the 3.5, I mean. I do love how quick these little Matco ratchets are. They do spin fast. Oh no! Come here. Yeah, they're all looking pretty good. Number 5 looked like it was running a little rich. But other than that, nothing too bad. While Tyler gets those ready, I'm going to clean up the gasket surfaces.
It is SP580.
Alright, so for those that didn't hear that, the spark plug part number for the 3.7 is SP580. I think the turbocharged 3.5 is SP520, but don't quote me. So we got our rags down in our intake hole, so now we can clean up the gasket surface real well.
521.
521, is that what it is? Okay, SP520 and SP521. I don't... Tyler, we checked the message to see if anybody's commented.
Yep.
I'd feel bad if somebody commented and I didn't say anything. It's hard to do on...
No, there's some annoying person.
Just some annoying guy named Tyler.
Yeah.
If you got any questions, feel free to shoot them out there. You're here. I might as well talk to somebody.
That's what we did. We were tired of talking to each other.
Yeah, we hate talking to each other. Annoying. So all of the bolts are supposed to stay captured in the intake. They've got a little like O-ring that holds them in. So you want to give each one of them the, yeah, see that one right there? It's not. So we're just going to go ahead and pull them out. Give it the old safety tug. Make sure it's holding good. This is a good time to check your intake. Now, if I could get the intake gaskets right now, which I can't for this, I would replace this, but I'm telling you they're good for a second time. I mean, hell, Ford wants you to replace the bolts on the intake, even though it's like 89 inch-pounds. But we're not. It's a spark, you know, it's spark plugs and intake. It's not like brakes and steering and suspension. I'm not super worried about it. I don't, but they come pre-gapped. It's probably gonna be like 52 thou.
I'm gonna double check it.
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
I don't trust them.
Intake gasket's nice and soft. I mean, I've been trying to order them for a while now. Velcro had them on back order. Throttle body looks nice and clean. We do pretty regular induction services on these. So that looks good. Just getting everything a check over before we start putting it back together while Tyler gets those spark plugs ready. If you have any questions or anything you want to say, feel free to shoot them out now. Otherwise, we're just wasting our breath. No, I do not. I do not have any of those intake gaskets, so that one's going to get reused. Tyler's looking up the spark plug gap right now. That should be in common specs. See, he wants me to do a toolbox tour, and this right here is why I'm not going to do one. This thing's a mess right now. If we could slow down for long enough, I would do a daggone toolbox tour, but on top of that, it's getting too damn full. I just got back from doing an equalizer class down in Texas in Round Rock. For anybody that wants to do windshield installations, I highly recommend the training that Equalizer does do down there in Texas, in Round Rock, Texas. It's 5 days long. You'll be taught by the one and only Mr. Gilbert Gutierrez and Kevin Stover.
This is why you always double check the factory.
Yeah. 49 to 53,000. See, I was right with 52,000 in the spark plug gap.
And it came in at 34.
But anyways, I highly recommend the training down there with Equalizer and their little Auto Glass Academy. They will get you your AGRIS certification. Well, I mean, you have to take it, but they give you all the tools to easily pass your AGRIS certification. And they'll also go ahead and get you certified on Sika products. That way, as soon as you leave their academy, you can buy the tools that you need and start slinging in windshields if you want professionally and the right way. They also give you a $280 credit to go to their class. Like if you go to their class, it's like $1,500 in tuition. I want to say it was somewhere around there. Don't quote me, but it was less than that, $1,500, like $1,300 to $1,500. But they give you a $280 credit for tools that you want to buy there, and that'll go towards anything you want to get. So you can save $280 on a startup kit. But like I said, highly recommend it. It was a great class. My counterpart that does all the work on the trucks out east in Oklahoma, he went to it a while back, and he's the one been doing all the windshields, and I felt bad for him having to be the one to put them all in. So we decided to send me as well, so we can both put in windshields. Where did your, okay, there it is. So you're going to see that on the feed soon. I polled everybody in the transit forum to see if they wanted to see a windshield R&R. And they did for some reason. I don't know why. I was totally expecting everybody to say, I'm not going to be putting in windshields. Why do I want to see it? But a lot of people did say they wanted to see it. So that will be coming on the channel soon. I think we're all good on windshields right now, but these things go through windshields like crazy. I mean, they're the size of a Bass Pro Shops aquarium. I mean, there's a lot of areas for them to catch rocks. You got one for me?
Yeah,
So he checked our plugs, and he's right. That's why you do always check, because they're supposed to come pre-gapped at 49 to 53 thousandths. I always set them at 52. And he had one that was what? Crushed down to what? 34? 36?
Or 34, yeah.
34? So, not that it really would have done anything really bad, but. Alright, so we got a little bit of anti-seize on there. We're going to run them all by hand.
Ain't got no turbo. You don't need to worry about blowing it out.
God forbid you cross-thread a spark plug. It's like one of the superstitions I have of cross-threading a freaking spark plug. You guys that are watching and not saying anything, you're weirding me out. Say something. Hell, let me know you're there. I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. It's like a normal day working with Tyler. Throw me a comment up there. Say, hey, what the hell are we doing? What the hell is this video all about? Or screw your hair. Why are you wearing Carhartt? I thought everybody was burning that shit. Say something. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a new gap. Fucking tool up this shit.
What's that?
I'm going to have to get a new fucking gap up here.
He's breaking the gapper tool somehow. That's just like a Marine. You leave him alone in a room with a rubber mallet and 2 ball bearings. You come back, one will be missing, the other one's pregnant.
Oh, that's true.
Hey, we got 5 likes, Tyler. That's cool. There we go. We're back. Have you messaged her for me? My wife was breaking up the live video. So anyways, what's going on out there in YouTube world? You guys who watch my videos, what have you been working on? That's a section we need to do, Tyler, just like Stacy David does with gears. What are you working on section? People need to send in stuff that we should do that. You guys think we should do that? You can answer that question. You're watching, damn it.
I should bring the race car up here.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool to do it. At least like a Transit or Pioneer.
Yeah.
What are you working on section, or anything else that other people watch? I mean, hell, we're down to 0 now, so.
I left.
They're like, he keeps asking me questions, we're leaving.
I didn't know how to participate. What do you want me to tell you what?
Ask her if everything's okay that we're doing a live video.
Okay.
Great. Gonna get put in the doghouse for doing a live video because I had to decline a call from my wife. Alright, got one more to put in. Y'all done?
One more.
One more. Did you get the torque on that spark plug?
Yeah, I had it.
It's like 11 foot-pounds, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, I torque my spark plugs.
133 foot-pounds.
We work on
Pound inch. Pound inch. God damn it.
We work on V10s for Christ's sakes. Don't over torque them. Those things are known for spitting out their spark plugs on a good day, let alone if you strip them. Hey, we got one back. Welcome to the show, guy. We're doing or girl.
Yeah, I was about to say, it could be a female.
Hey, actually, 0.03% of my crowd is female according to YouTube analytics. And on top of that, according to YouTube analytics, like 1% of my crowd is from Germany that watch this. So there's some Fraulein out there lusting after yours truly. Not really. She's probably got a transit van that she absolutely hates to work on, and she's just YouTubing how to do brakes. She's wondering why we have automatic transits when everybody else has standard transits over in the UK. Which, man, that'd be fun to drive a manual transmission transit. If we're, going to calls anyway. Because there's no ambulance out there anymore that's manual. That doesn't exist anymore. I don't even think Ford makes an F-Series that is manual anymore. I think they did away with it. So your only hope of driving a manual transmission Ford ambulance is going to be a manual transit. That would be fun.
Oh man, I'd have a blast.
I would have some fun with that. So you said 133 inch-pounds?
Yeah.
133 inch-pounds.
I know they should be doing the clutch after about a day.
Right. Hey, will you go grab a couple AAAs from Laura, please?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and snug these down and then while he grabs that. But anyways, for the one or two people that keep joining us for the probably super boring video of doing spark plugs on a 3.7 liter Transit, 2017 year, T250 type. We're just doing spark plugs and we decided to do a live. Thanks for joining us. Glad you're here. We've got all our new plugs in. And I'm just running them down, and my electronic torque wrench was dead. So Tyler's grabbing me some batteries, and I will torque all these down to 133 inch-pounds. I'm just running them down right now. How are you guys doing out there in the YouTube world? These live videos are weird for me. I'm just coming out and saying it right now. I'm so used to editing out all the stupid crap I say, and now it's all documented. While you're here, if you're watching this and there's any ideas that any videos that you'd like to see on the Transit, feel free to let us know in the comments section here. I'm trying to have Tyler check the comments section regularly and see what people are saying, if anything, and so far the only comments are from him, testing to see if I could see anything. For those that just joined us, as you can see, we've got our intake ports plugged off. I'll bring you in closer so you can see a little better. Is that better? Like I said, I'm a stickler for torque, especially on spark plugs. You don't want to go ripping out the threads on a spark plug. Even though these Duratechs, they have a crap ton of spark plug threads, so I don't think that's really ever going to happen. But like I said, we work on V10s a lot, and they were notorious for spitting out their spark plugs. What else we got? I guess we can check that air filter. This is a great time to do it because that air horn is out of the way. So get you guys a good angle on that. Maybe hang this guy over here. This is what sucks about doing live mechanical videos, man. This is normally stuff I edit out. We're gonna Pop this air filter cover out. And yeah, Ford made that way too difficult to get out of there. I'm putting that out there right now. How does our air filter look?
You said 2, right?
Yeah, it should be 2. Torque wrenches right over there. That does not look bad at all. We usually stay on top of that. I'm not going to waste money on popping a new one in. And I saw somebody on the page thinking that this right here was the intake for the engine. It's totally not. That is the intake for all of the ventilation. Hey! We're on YouTube.
Oh. My bad.
Just trying to tell Tyler to say less words that are less monetizable. But that's another thing that you get to do. What is that? Hi, brother. Thanks for what you share. Much respect. Thank you, sir. D-Swaz. Oh, man, am I missing comments? Tyler, read the comments.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, guys, if I've been missing the comments the whole time. Tyler's going to read me the comments.
Somebody's asking if it's 3.5.
This is the 3.7. It just looks like a 3.5 right now because that big gaudy intake is out of the way. So, that answers your question.
And then Wes said no, it's a turbo.
It's not the turbo. I promise it's not the turbo. It's much. I mean, look at all the room you got down here now. I love the non-turbo transits to work on. Don't get me wrong, that power is awesome. It really is. It makes for a very fun to drive van. I mean, it's a huge rocket ship, but a lot of things break on them. Totally. All right, we got our torque wrench set to 133. Did you?
I haven't said it.
No, he didn't set it.
I haven't even reading comments.
We got the Matco electric torque wrench here. I dial this puppy up to 133. All right. Find my adapter kit. So I can run a 3/8. And we'll get these puppies torqued down. 133 inch-pounds, by the way, if I hadn't said it already 15 times. This truck has 76 on the clock.
Yes.
76,222.
Okay, come on. Here we go. Good. Anybody else out there watching? Anything else to say? I think the only reason me and Tyler wanted to do this live video is we wanted to talk to somebody else besides us. We get boring after a while. And like I said, if you just joined us, if you have any requests for transit videos, pop it out there.
Or tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, or tell us what you're working on and what you're doing with your transit, or any problems you've ran into with your transit.
Or anything else. Oh.
I could try to help walk you through it, but it's really hard to do through the comments section. Although I do have a lot of people asking me stuff in the comments section. Which I don't mind one bit. I'm not big time enough like Eric O from South Main Auto to where he gets to the point like, yeah, I'm not helping you diagnose your car over the internet. By the way, if you're looking for another good YouTube channel to check out for automotive diagnosis and work, South Main Auto with Eric. He goes by Eric O. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name. Outstanding channel. Absolutely outstanding channel. All right, so we've got our gasket surface clean. We're going to go ahead and throw a little bit of dielectric grease on each coil and pop them back in. Also, while you're doing this, make sure you don't have any green crusties in your terminals. And Ford puts dielectric grease in there from the factory. But make sure that you don't have any corrosion going on. This is not a problem that we usually have here in Oklahoma. There's not a lot of salt, not a lot of alkali stuff on the roads, so we don't have near as much of a problem as you guys up there in the Rust Belt do. Yeah, you guys who work in the Rust Belt have my absolute respect. I would probably pick a different profession if I lived up north. I would just work on cars as a hobby, not a job. Because we get frustrated when we have a few bolts rusted in. That's like every day for you guys. So here's a good example. It's not so much a problem on this one, but you'll notice how this quill bolt, see if I can frame that okay. This quill bolt looks like crap. It's because it probably lived on the middle cylinders. And like I said, that windshield wiper cowl drips on them and causes them corrosion. So be on the lookout for this. When you go to do spark plugs, check your middle bolts. Just give them a twist, and if they fight you, you might want to go, before you do anything else, especially if this is your only ride, go grab a couple extra of these little bolts, and they make a little insert kit that puts the little brass piece back into the valve cover. You literally heat it up on your bolt and you push it down into the plastic, because what's probably going to happen is it's going to push against you real hard and you're going to twist it right out of the valve cover, and a lot of the times there's no salvaging them. So they're like 20 bucks on Amazon for a whole kit to do the whole valve cover, but if you don't have it when you need it, now you're not driving anywhere for one of a $20 kit. I don't know about y'all, but that's the main reason I watch anybody do anything on YouTube is, what am I going to need before I start this? So I'm not stuck somewhere. And you can look in the service manual. The service manual will tell you what you need, but it's not going to tell you the stuff that's likely going to break. And on top of that, some manufacturers, their service manual is just horrible. Perfect example is when I was down there in that windshield school, I was doing a door glass on a Toyota RAV4, and I looked up how to remove a lot of the trim pieces on the door, and the service manual just says, take it off. They don't tell you how, just take it off. Get it out of there, guy. What are you doing? Like, yeah, that's why I'm asking you. All right, we're going to go ahead and run these down. I don't torque them. I just snug them. There is a torque to them, but it's like stupid low. I just give it a little snug, move on. And you might want to, especially if you live in the Rust Belt, go ahead and put some anti-seize on those middle ones, just to help protect the threads from falling. Tyler, you want to go ahead and pull up the torque spec and sequence for the intake, please?
Yeah.
While I'm doing this live, I can answer a question a lot of people have asked. Why do I draw out my torque sequences and put them on a piece of paper like that? That's simply because the material that I look up on Mitchell 1 is actually copyrighted from Ford. Mitchell pays the copyright to Ford. And technically, by me, videoing the screen or taking a screenshot of the screen and sharing it with the public is copyright infringement. So I just tell you the knowledge. I can't actually show you their illustration. That can land you in hot water. Especially because YouTube is very serious about copyright stuff nowadays. Alright, so all our coil packs are hooked back up. We've popped our safety tabs down on all of them. They're all gapped, they all have anti-seize, they're all torqued, and they're all snugged down. So we're good to go back with the intake now. Like I said, you're going to pull this little foam pad back and out of the way. And you're going to try to push that back because it's going to get in your way. We've taken one bolt out, the big long one. It's not captured for some reason. I just don't want it catching on anything or knocking anything off. So we will now, don't forget this part. That'll be embarrassing when you go to try to start it. Throw that up there. All right. Very carefully center it on up. Now there is a torque sequence to this intake. You do want to follow it because it's big, it's plastic, and it can crack. So I'm just getting a few started so I know that I'm sitting nice and level and I'm not going to smush the gasket around. And then I'll gently run them all down. I'm not actually torquing it or tightening it. I'm literally just going until the intake moves. There's that big long bolt. There you are.
Okay.
You ready?
89 inch-pounds and 45 degrees.
Yeah. So I can tell you right now that the torque spec is 89 inch-pounds and then 45 degrees. That is because they're expecting to use a new gasket. I couldn't get the new gasket. I've reused these gaskets before with no issue. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. I'm not saying I'm technically telling you the right way to do it. But I'm telling you that if you are reusing the gasket, just go to 89 inch-pounds. Do not go the additional 45 degrees because they're expecting you to have that new gasket, which is much less compressed. You know, it's not cold. And they're expecting that 45 degrees compresses that gasket. It's not a torque to yield bolt on the plastic intake, I promise. It is just expecting you to compress that gasket. So if you do happen to do a shortcut like I am, do not do the additional 45 degrees. Just go to 89 inch-pounds. You know what? I just realized we've never done a GDI injector video.
Really?
We've never done that. We've had to do GDI injectors on these a lot, and I just realized I've never done that video. It was mainly because every time that I had to do the EcoBoost injectors, we were under a serious time crunch.
Yeah.
But we are about to pull an engine out of a Transit that we're going to be scrapping soon, and I'm going to go ahead and overhaul that engine so I have a good hot spare, and we can show you guys how to do injectors on that one.
Yeah.
That one we won't be underneath the
Do we
time
still have
crunch.
spare injectors over there?
Yeah, we have a whole set of refurb injectors, and then I have a whole set of brand new injectors ready to go. Because of COVID, we've kind of done a lot of parts hoarding, you know, stuff that we know we're eventually going to need, and we basically put it on order, and it shows up 3 months later, which we at least have it on the shelf. It kind of feels like a waste of money, but until you have an ambulance that can't go anywhere, then it doesn't feel like a waste of money anymore.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Center, rear.
Center, rear. Wait, show me which one you're talking about. Okay. All right, so we're doing our torque sequence at 89 inch-pounds. And we're following the torque sequence. See if I can bring you guys in here to get a little bit better.
So you switch sides.
Think it'd be better over here?
Then they can see the.
Yeah, that's a good point. There we go. So this one right here is our first bolt. All right.
It's top.
This one.
Yeah.
This one. All right, so here's number 2. Tyler's looking this stuff up for me, is why you hear somebody telling me on the order. Boy, that wind is insane today.
Cold and
All right, next.
Straight down.
This one. That's what I
Yeah.
figured. Yeah, it basically starts in a circle pattern going out, kind of like most head bolts. Who's that? That one next. I'm
No,
guessing? No?
front.
This one. Or,
Right there.
I just pointed to the purge bolt. Or the purge solenoid bolt. No, that's not it. What's next? Across from it?
No, back.
The back one?
Back right. And then the other back one
Okay.
and the front one.
That makes sense. Come on,
So-
torque wrench reset.
Essentially center and out.
There we go. And then the front one?
Yep.
Alright, that makes sense.
What's that? You might double check that first one too, because it didn't move much.
You smoking out there? I have a 2020 EcoBoost 3.5 changing oil at 5,500 at 17,000 miles. Should I warm up the mornings before?
I got you.
Sorry, man. He's gonna read that comment to me. It just timed out on the screen. So I'm gonna let Tyler read it, and then I'll answer
I
your
have a
question.
2020 EcoBoost 3.5, changing the oil at 5,500 at 17,000 miles. Should I warm up in the mornings before I rolled? Should I like turbo time 2 to 3 minutes when I arrive at destination.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yes, absolutely. Always warm your engine up. You're going to hear a lot of mouthpieces in the media say that it's not good to warm your engine up. It can actually hurt it, yada, yada, yada. That is total BS. The reason why that's total BS is because they have an incentive by a lot of people to try to cut fuel use and emissions, and idling is emissions. But I can tell you right now, any engine manufacturer will tell you that when your engine is up to operating temperature is when it's going to maintain its longevity. And driving an engine, especially driving an engine hard while it is cold, is horrible for it. Personally, about the whole oil change interval, I'd be changing it a little bit sooner than that. I don't like to go over 5 for anything in our fleet. We try to absolutely not let it go over 5. Now, granted, we do use ours in a severe duty application because they do a lot of idling. They do a lot of cold starting and driving like hell. Like I just told you shouldn't do, but that's kind of the nature of an ambulance. We don't know when the call is going to come in. So, yeah, absolutely warm it up. And if for the whole cooling the turbos down, that's absolutely a great idea. Any turbo manufacturer will tell you that an idle cool down is a great idea. Yes. You'll notice any professional semi driver, especially if they own their own truck, when they get off the road, they'll let it sit there and idle for about 5 minutes. And the idea is that the cooler oil will cool down the turbo more gradually. That way the turbine shaft doesn't warp and it doesn't hot soak the seals and all kinds of stuff like that. Absolutely, it's a great idea. Is it absolutely necessary? Not necessarily, but it is good practice if you're trying to increase the longevity of your engine. But I can tell you this, your EcoBoost will generate more valve deposits when you do a lot of idling. So keep that in mind too. I highly recommend a catch can on your EcoBoost to help reduce valve deposits, because the more you idle, the more you'll get that. Like we have a lot of trucks that do a lot of idling, and then we have some trucks that tend to not idle so much. They do a lot more highway mileage, and you can tell the difference in the amount of valve carbon deposits because they do a lot more highway instead of idling. So absolutely warm your truck up in the morning, especially if it's super cold. And I would change your oil a little bit more frequently than 5,500 miles. I know that's not what Ford says, but you also have to understand that Ford has an incentive to increase their oil change intervals because, again, emissions. So, thanks. Trying to get 150,000 miles. My goal is retired diesel mechanic. Sorry. God dang it. I don't even know why I'm trying to read these.
I don't know.
Tyler's going to read that for me.
Thanks. Trying to get 150,000 miles is my goal. Retired diesel mechanic. Will change sooner. Thanks, brother. 5 minutes, good. Cool down time, cool. Under warranty. Catch can, will void.
You're right. A catch can void the warranty.
We'll do it after 36,000.
It can, but I'm telling you right now, you can fight it. I've heard of people fighting it because it does not actually affect the function of the engine. You got to understand, it's just positive crankcase ventilation. You're just vacating bad gases, and the only thing you're doing it is you're running it through a condensation filter, basically. So you're absolutely correct. You can run into problems with it, but technically, don't listen to everything that Ford says about warranties. Oh, at least what your dealer says anyway. There's a lot of dealers that say you touch anything on that engine, it's void. That is not true. You actually have to affect the operation of the engine. They need to prove that what you did caused a problem. That's like these people say, oh, you can't put bigger wheels and tires on a vehicle, it'll void your warranty. It's not true. It could void your warranty or your transmission warranty, but I have a Transit 350 diesel with 700,000 kilometers on it, and I guess that is around 450,000 miles. That's a lot of miles.
Holy cow.
We don't work on the diesels because I'm guessing you're in the UK by the fact that you're using kilometers. We don't have the diesels here because we have much stricter emissions rules than you guys do, and it makes owning a diesel just not worth it.
We do have diesels in the fleet, though.
We do have diesels in the fleet, but it's just not worth it as much.
Not like it used to be.
Any other comments that I missed? I know I missed a bunch.
No. You got it. Canada. Yeah. Again, you guys have much more lenient emissions rules than we do.
Because I'm telling you right now, here in the U.S., that little, what is that, 5-cylinder Power Stroke, man, that thing's having a lot of problems. Okay, so this guy needs to hook up to the map sensor. But thanks for the comment and the question. That's a great question. People ask me all the time, how often should I change the oil? And here's the actual 100% correct answer to that question. There's several oil testing labs out there that I bought it like that. I was used for cross-border expedites. Yeah, they ain't doing wrong. That little diesel is not a bad engine. But anyways, back to what I was saying. There's a 100% correct answer to this that puts everybody, shuts everybody up. There's a bunch of independent oil testing labs out there, and you can take your old oil at whatever interval you're changing at right now, and you can send it to the oil lab, and they'll tell you about total dissolved solids, dissolved particulates, what kind of damage has happened to that oil as far as like volatility loss, because when you heat up oil, a lot of the solvents that hold it together cook out and it starts to sludge. They can tell you if this oil needed to be changed, if it was performing less than the specifications than the manufacturer says it was. And it can tell you, do I need to go shorter or longer on my my oil change intervals? And that's what I always tell people, because there is no, just standard answer. You need to change your oil at this many thousand miles. It really depends on how you operate your vehicle. So I strongly recommend, it's like $50 to send in your oil and have a full panel done on it. And they even kind of walk you through what each thing means, because we're not chemists. But they'll walk you through what each thing means and what it means for your engine. So I highly recommend you do that. We did that a while back with our trucks. And we figured out that this Castrol Edge and the Castrol Magnatech we run is still a really good oil at 5,000 miles. So yeah, we don't like to go past 5 because it was showing that we were stretching that oil to its point at 5,000 miles. I hope that answers that question for oil change. And for anybody else that might have that question, get your oil tested. I highly recommend it. It sounds silly sending your oil off to a lab, but I highly recommend it. You can learn a whole lot. And on top of that, there's also some cool things that getting your oil regularly tested can do. Like if they find that there's a lot of gasoline in your oil, or if there's any coolant in your oil. Hell, I heard of one person saying they found transmission fluid in his oil, additives that are only found in transmission fluid, and they found out that the way this engine was set up, that oil was literally coming out of a leaking input shaft seal and going in through the rear main seal. Well, some engines pull a vacuum on the rear main seal. Like this, not this one. The EcoBoost can pull a vacuum on its rear main seal because it has a vacuum pump, and if your PCV system gets messed up, it can actually suck things in through the rear main seal. Yeah. Get your oil tested if you've got the time or inclination to do so. I highly recommend it. You can find out if you're wasting your money or not. Or you can just pull the old Hank Hill. I'll change my oil every 3,000 miles or when I get bored, whichever happens first. Slam it, Bobby. All right. So we got our evap hoses hooked back up, our throttle body's hooked back up, our map sensor back here is hooked back up. We've popped back down both wire ties that go into the intake. Our brace is back on our intake, for the love of God, don't forget that one. Do you have the 7 mil, sir? And we checked her air filter, it was good to go. We're going to run it real quick, make sure she runs good, and then we're going to do an oil change on her. But I did kind of accidentally take apart this hose clamp. Let me see if there's any other questions I missed. Sorry if I missed your comments, because they only pop up on my screen for a short little bit. I should probably do this on a computer with a webcam. You have to forgive me, this is only like my second live that I've ever done.
How many of y'all would like him to do it more?
Yeah, I mean, did you guys, anybody watch this enjoy it? Did you get anything out of this, or are we just kind of shooting the poop right now while I work on something? I kind of feel like it's a lot more of that than actually any kind of instruction on how to do spark plugs on a Transit. Which I don't mind shooting the poop. We can shoot the poop all we want.
We'll talk to our internet friends.
Yeah. All 5 of them. Look, shit, 4 of them. One decided he wasn't a friend anymore.
Oh, got one.
What's that? Sorry if I missed your question. Oh, he's probably saying, don't forget that clamp.
It's D Swaz. I tow an RV trailer at 4,400 pounds. Should I change training fluid way earlier than manual says? Thanks again for sharing your knowledge and your time.
Okay, that is a great question. I'll tell you.
The second part. All your videos are great for the content and the funnies.
Oh, thanks for that. I appreciate that. I hope everybody heard what he said. A question on the transmission fluid for the Transit. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't apply to just you. It applies to everybody that owns a Transit. You should change it before the manufacturer says so, because the manufacturer says it's a sealed for life transmission or 120,000 miles. That's how they say it in the manual, which cracks me up because that's the manufacturer saying we do not expect this transmission to last longer than 120,000 miles. So I'm telling you right now, change your fluid at 60,000 miles. For one, this fluid that they run it at Mercon V, it's got a lot of solvents in it. You've never seen darker transmission fluid than you have with Mercon V and the 6R80. I don't know about the 10R80 too much. I haven't had too much experience with that. But the 6R80, at 40,000 miles, it's black. It's no longer red, especially for our Transits because, they kind of get abused. So absolutely you should change it before the manufacturer says. We like to change ours at 60 or when the catalytic converters go, whichever happens first. That hits us in the feels right there. Anytime you have the front K member off, I'd recommend you change your transmission fluid. It's not a super expensive thing to do. Yeah. But absolutely, if you tow with it, abso-freaking-lutely, you should change it at every 60. Definitely. It's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. I've seen that a lot on the Transit forums. That's an absolutely outstanding question, yes. Everybody should change their fluid at 60,000 miles. Do not listen to Ford and go 120K with the same transmission fluid. And here, you know what? I'm going to go into detail because I know a lot of people say I'm full of crap. The 6R80 has one really bad flaw. The transmission that comes in the Transits until 2021, 20? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, back to what I was saying. All of the electronics in the 6R80 they're held in what they call a molded leaf frame. So the output shaft sensor is on that frame. And Ford knew this was a problem a few generations later after the 6R80 because they put two magnets in the pan. And the reason why they had to put two magnets in the pan is because the transmissions were shucking so much metal material that it would end up building up on the output shaft speed sensor because it's a magnetic Hall induction switch or a Hall effect switch. And it would end up building up to where it would mess up the signal for the output shaft speed sensor. And what would happen is it would think all of a sudden that you were doing 0 miles an hour. And it would literally try to shift down into second gear while you're going down the highway doing 70. And I've heard of people literally, like if they were on rainy roads, say that it felt like somebody pulled the handbrake and they skidded out of control. I'm surprised I haven't seen a recall on this. I think Ford thinks they solved the problem by putting a second magnet in the pan. So yes, I highly recommend you change your transmission fluid early because of the amount of metal material that builds up in these. And people are going to go, what about a transmission flush? Because I don't want to have to drop that K member. No, because you don't clean the magnets, and that's the big thing. Magnets work on the old inverse square law. The farther you get away from it, it's exponentially weaker. Well, when you build up a huge fuzz on that magnet, it's no longer doing its job, and now it's going to stick to anything else magnetic in the transmission, which is your output shaft speed sensor. 10 SP here, but we'll change this in. But recommend to pay someone to work time. Yeah. If you have a good shop that you can take it to do the transmission, I highly recommend it because it is a bit of a bear to do in your driveway with jack stands. I can tell you that right now. Tyler and I know because when we first started working in this building, we did not have a lift. We did all of that with jack stands.
Harbor Freight.
Yeah, Harbor Freight jack stands that apparently were trying to kill us. So, yeah, I know it sucks. I've been there. Please don't think that I'm born with a silver spoon in my mouth and I don't know what that's like. All right, so we're going to fire her up real quick and make sure she runs smooth before I go putting everything away, and then we'll throw her in the air and do an oil change. So Tyler's going to crank her up.
It'll be a lot quieter.
Yeah, we started it up with the exhaust pipes off just for jollies. I'm just feeling it. See if I feel any misfires, which I don't. It was having a pretty regular misfire until it warmed up, so it feels much better. Okay. Go ahead and kill it and we'll, oh, hey, actually keep it running real quick. We can show something. So we've currently got our scan tool hooked up to this. We've had it hooked up this whole time. And one of the ways that we do a misfire test is what we call a power balance test. And what this does is it measures the speed of the crankshaft as it's running. And it basically graphs it out. You can see this is cylinder 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6. And this is the speed of the crankshaft as it goes through each one. I'm going to have Tyler go hop in and put it in gear, put it under a little bit of load and power brake it. Just to show you if any cylinder is misfiring, which shouldn't now. She's got fresh plugs in it and we fixed the exhaust problem. So we shouldn't have this problem. The ghost lines that you see is basically like a sample. And I can clear it to give me the current. As you can see, we're running nice and smooth. So we're good there. All right. Let's change the oil on this bad boy. You're good. I don't know. Do we take them along for an oil change, Tyler?
If they want to keep trucking.
I mean, we've actually got 5 people here. For most of this video, we had almost nobody here, so why not?
Yeah, you lift it up. Yeah.
Oh, actually, real quick, before we do that, I wanted to show you guys a few. Thanks for putting out great videos since I bought my Transit. You're one of the YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, because there's not a lot out there for YouTubes on Transits. I said that backwards. Transits on YouTube, is there? Like, there's almost no data out there for any helpful videos. That's why I started doing them, because I noticed that there's no help out there. Because trust me, I'm a professional mechanic, but I look at YouTube sometimes because there's a lot of good techs out there on YouTube. Now, there's a lot of bad techs out there too. I always say that YouTube can show you the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it, and it's up for you to decide which one you just watched. All right, so on your Transits, I've said this a few times, but I'm going to say it again. Things to look for. I'm telling you right now that coolant bottle is kind of yellow. I might change this before this goes out. That's pretty yellow. Anytime you see them getting that yellow, generally you're about to have an issue. What happens is this little nipple right here, he said nipple, will break. Mag change. This little nipple right here will break, or the one down low will break that this little plastic vent line goes to, and it'll start leaking, and it'll run underneath, down onto the frame rail, and all the way forward, and people freak out like, oh, it's my radiator leaking. No, it's probably your coolant bottle. The other thing that you really want to look for is this plastic line right here. I just did a video on the oil pressure sensor, and I showed you that it's really easy to accidentally snap it. So I highly recommend that if you're past 50,000 miles, replace this little plastic line that runs from your vent bottle all the way over here to the left side of your radiator. It's super simple to do, takes almost no tools to do it, and it can save you from being stuck on the side of the road. They get super brittle and they break real easy. Like when you buy them, they're supple. You can bend it over all the way and it'll bend over. But after it's been in there for a hot minute, you press up against it, snap, like it was made out of glass. So highly recommend this vent line that runs from the coolant bottle over to the passenger side of the radiator. Go ahead and replace that at 50,000 and replace it every 50,000. It's only like 20 bucks, cheap insurance. The other thing I would look at is this hose assembly right down here. I'm moving it right now with my hand. I hope you guys can see that. What happens is there's a little plastic 4-way piece down there that will break. Well, actually, it won't even really break. It's where the injection molding, when they made the piece, when the two pieces come together, it forms a crack. And the really bugger about it is, especially on the EcoBoost, when it leaks, it literally squirts right onto the exhaust manifold while it's running. So it all vaporizes, turns to steam, and there's nothing on the ground. And when you shut the car off, you draw a vacuum on your cooling system, so it stops leaking. So it doesn't leak in your driveway, but it leaks out coolant while you're driving, and you may notice, hey, my heater stopped working. And yeah, I'm super low on coolant. There's nothing in the bottle. And then, yeah, that was your issue. Somebody just commented something. What's that?
MBG Adventures, there isn't. You can see what I'm doing to my Transit on my channel if interested.
I'll check it out, brother. Sure thing. We'll do. And yeah, there's not a whole lot for transits out there. What was the next one?
Watching your videos, I condition all rubber hoses with 303 aerospace protector.
I've heard about that.
To help linger life and conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah, if you know what he's talking about, there was, sorry, I'm gonna answer D-Swaz real quick. Which one was the hose that leaks on the turbo? So it is the hose that comes from right here, right? When you buy this part, this right here is where you take it off from. And it runs right down here, right next to the exhaust manifold, and there's a four-way piece, right, that allows for bypass to the rear heater core. That's literally the only reason it's down there, is it feeds the rear heater core. I have a video on my channel showing you how to replace that hose, and also on how to get off the side of the road without parts. You can literally just loop that hose back, and the only thing you lose is your rear heater core. Throw some water on it, you can get off the road without parts. Because eventually they do crack all the way open and they spew out all your coolant, and you will overheat and you will screw crap up. But what he's talking about, for anybody else that doesn't know what he's talking about, is I've heard of him using it in the aviation industry. We don't use it here, but it's a rubber and plastic conditioner that you can spray on there. Check the comments to see what he's talking about on his particular brand. There's several brands out there that you can spray on plastic and rubber to keep things
Pliable.
PCV vapors and stuff like that from degrading the plastics. It's basically just a protector. It's like lotion for your hoses. Let's go up. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick with the coolant hoses. Always check it out. Every truck that comes through here, we check it out. And occasionally they still break us on the field. Me and Tyler, we take care of a fleet of ambulances, and we have E350s and transits. I'm not talking crap on the transits here, okay? But I'm telling you right now, we like to bring the transits to the shop to work on them. We don't like to work on them mobile, because there's always a coolant leak, and we always got to do brakes. And that sucks to do in the field. So we generally try to bring them here. The E350s, we work on them in the field. Because generally it's just oil, air filter, and go. And E350, it's a tried and tested machine. The Transit's a good truck, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking crap about it, but work hard on them in this industry. They were not designed to do what we do with them. I'm telling you that right now. So we're going to go up and we're going to do a quick inspection. Make sure everything's good underneath there, change the oil, and ship her back out to the field.
Probably do brakes.
You think we're going to do brakes?
I think so.
Alright, well I do the oil. Why don't you pull a wheel and we'll show them the brakes. E350, what engine? Generally only two engines. Either the 6.8 V10 2-valve, for Christ's sakes. That's the good one. The 3-valve sucks. Or the new 7.3 liter Godzilla engine, which that's a pretty cool engine too. That thing is mean. You down on the locks? Alright. So we're going to do an oil change on this. Tyler, do we have a quick drain valve on this one? Ah, I'm smacking people's heads.
Maybe for your friends.
Yeah. Sorry about the concussion, everybody. No, we do not have a quick drain valve on this. Tyler hates our quick drain valves. So. No point in torturing y'all with that.
We'll be getting a quieter one.
Hey, that's actually part of the reason why we do a YouTube channel is we were hoping to make some money on it with monetization. That was funny, wasn't it? And buy some better shop equipment because, EMS companies don't like to spend money on shop equipment. That's not fair. My boss actually has no problem spending. Your brake job video is great, 5-star quality. Thank you. I appreciate that. I take brakes very seriously. So yeah, I do it by the book, and I want to give you guys all the specs so you can do it by the book. I think teaching somebody how to do a shoddy brake job makes you liable for anybody they kill. I'm not saying legally, but morally. If you show somebody how to do a crappy brake job, well, if they kill somebody, that's your fault, guy. So, thank you, I appreciate that. That sound of hate and discontent behind you is Tyler taking off the tires so we can do a brake inspection while they're here. That's another reason why we like to bring the Transits to the shop for services, because we pull the wheels off every 3,000 to 5,000 miles to check the brakes because they go through brakes so quickly. We really hate it when we get the call of, hey, it sounds like it's metal on metal. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is. Statistically speaking, I bet it is. We hate that it ever gets to that point. And it doesn't happen real often, but it does happen. Brakes are definitely different if you want to transit over a regular vehicle. That is a true story. That is a true story. Some cars are super easy, but I mean, granted, everybody basically hates on the transit brakes, which I get it. But I tell everybody that it's just like working on a one-ton.
Toyotas are worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell everybody it's like working on a one-ton, especially on the back. You have to remove the axle shafts and everything like that to do the rear brakes on one of them. So, yeah, it sucks if you're not used to doing it, for sure. As you can see, the oil looks pretty good on this thing. This thing's actually super early for a oil change because we were here to fix a misfire issue, and we figured we'd just knock it out while they're here.
It's close.
It's really hard for us to get vehicles over here.
It's close.
Let's see how the brakes look. Tyler says it's close.
It is close. Especially that outer. The outer one.
No, we got a little bit more time. They're coming up on their next service rounds. We'll knock out brakes then. Nah, we got a little more time. At least on this side. We'll check the other side too. We need to check the rears too, and we need to rotate these.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll check it. Well, guys, I'm at an hour 11. I'm surprised anybody's watching at this point, honestly. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill this. Thanks for you guys that came on by and asked questions and all that good stuff. I hope this was informative. It was good for us. It was nice to shoot the poop with y'all. If you like the live, let us know. We'll do some more of them. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. That's